The Boston Celtics have entered the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. We're going to talk about it. And if they get the chance, why they have to pull the trigger in bringing Kevin Durant to Boston. Let's talk about it after the bumper. What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. here at the Black Boss channel in Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, the rumors have come up. They've swarmed. They're saying Boston has engaged with talks with the Brooklyn Nets in a potential Kevin Durant trade. The trade package will be centered around all-star guard, 25-year-old two-way player, one of the best two-way players in the league, Jaylen Brown, probably Marcus Smart, and a number of picks and pick swaps. Let's take a look at an article put out by ESPN. I think Woj was the first person to report this. It says Boston Celtics among teams to engage in talks with the Brooklyn Nets on a possible Kevin Durant deal. Sources say the Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant's trade request approaches a fourth week. The Boston Celtics have emerged among teams engaged in talks on a possible deal. The Celtics appear no closer acquiring Durant than any other team in discussions with the Nets, but Boston's ability to include all-star forward Jaylen Brown as a centerpiece in offers does help make the team formidable in its pursuit, sources say. Miami, Phoenix, and Toronto have all been well known to have varying degrees of interest in Durant, but the Celtics have also been in regular contact with the Nets, so the sources say. There are no deals believed to have traction for Durant, and no team has yet to reach a significant threshold that the Nets have set to trade one of the league's most talented players. The sources say the Nets' posture on a potential trade have largely unchanged. The Celtics consider all-NBA forward Jason Tatum off limits in any trade talks, but Boston's ability to construct a package for Durant that could include Brown and as many as 3 unprotected first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. Brown, 25, has 2 years left on a $56 million current contract. Durant, as we all know, is a beast, and Boston just swept the Nets, who had Durant on the team. Now, here's my thought process on all this. If the Nets don't want to trade Kevin Durant. Like, let's be real. There's no real winner for them. There's no real way to win a trade when you give up, arguably one of the 10 greatest players ever, still playing at an elite level, still an amazing all-NBA type of performer. So getting Jaylen Brown back is not sexy. I mean, it's just not. But if you do have to trade Kevin Durant, you really don't. You have 4 years left on the contract, so you don't really have to trade him. But if you do decide to trade Kevin Durant, getting a package back with Jaylen Brown isn't the worst thing, because Phoenix, let's just throw them out. They can't do anything for you. Toronto is not going to send away their best young player in Scottie Barnes. So they're not worth nothing if you can't get Scottie Barnes. And then Miami, really? Tyler Hero, packages centered around Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, who they didn't even play in the playoffs last year, just doesn't do anything for you. So if there is a package with Boston that can get you Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, possibly Robert Williams or Grant Williams, and 3 first-round picks, couple of pick swaps, if you can get that. Now, that's a big if, because Boston may not be willing to offer all of that. But even if you can get Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams, in the picks, now, granted, you're not going to win any kind of trade in trading away Kevin Durant, but you would have a young nucleus in Brooklyn that will make you formidable for the future. And you'd have to hit on some draft picks, but pairing Jaylen Brown, an emerging star, he's only getting better, with whatever's left of Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons decides to play, I knock on Ben Simmons all the time, but Ben Simmons is still a good NBA player. He is still a defensive stalwart and an all-star. Kyrie Irving, don't expect him to be there, but you'll be able to get something for Kyrie Irving. Jaylen Brown, a team centered around Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, and whatever you can get for Kyrie Irving still makes you an Eastern Conference playoff team. Still has you looking decent for the future. It's not an all-world team, but you're not going to be an all-world team if you trade away Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And even with them, you haven't made any kind of noise in the playoffs. Last year, you got swept in the first round. The year before, you had a chance, but you still lost earlier than expected. And then the year before, he didn't even make the playoffs at all. So, like, you could say, oh, you're losing Kevin Durant, blah, blah, blah. Man, you sound like you're going to lose Kevin Durant no matter what. And if I can get an all-star back, if I can get a guy like Robert Williams back, and I can get a number of picks and pick swaps, that is probably your best deal. That's probably the best deal that you're going to get. And for Kevin Durant, it's a picture-perfect situation. You go to another team that just made the finals. You go to another team that, if they add you, legit becomes one of the best teams in the league. You go to another team that, if they add you with Tatum, with Malcolm Brogdon, with Danilo Gallinari, with Ime Udoka running the show, Grant Williams, and if you're able to keep Robert Williams or keep Robert Williams and or Marcus Smart, you're a team that's going to be favored in the East, along with Milwaukee, of course, and Philly. But you'll be one of those top 3 teams in the East, maybe clearing away number 1. I could see this deal happening. I don't think Brooklyn wants to trade Kevin Durant, though. Like that, I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah, he's asked for a trade. But, I mean, if you run back Kyrie Irving, a healthy Kevin Durant, and whatever's left of Ben Simmons with Joe Harris at a healthy guy, and Cam Thomas. I really like Cam Thomas. I used to be the only person that likes Cam Thomas out of LSU. That is a team that's one of the top 3 teams in the East. But if you can't do that, getting a package centered around Jaylen Brown isn't a bad thing. It isn't bad at all. Now, don't get me wrong. I always think Jaylen Brown will be best as a number 2, but Jaylen Brown averaged 23 in the playoffs, averaged 24, 25 a game last year, was an all-star. Is only 25 years old and was a number 3 overall pick. He wasn't no soup sandwich. He's been good for a long time, and he's really coming into his own. Allowing him to take over a team, the defensive stalwart that him and Ben Simmons would wreak havoc for teams. And you'd get scoring from Cam Thomas. People are asleep on the bucket that Cam Thomas is. Cam Thomas really can go out there and get buckets. And I think he's going to be able to prove that if they lose Kevin Durant and or Kyrie Irving or both, Cam Thomas is going to show you how he can light up a scoreboard. He's a bona fide bucket. Adding a Jaylen Brown with the Ben Simmons, bringing back a healthy Joe Harris, Brooklyn would be a really good team. They wouldn't be the upper echelon in the East, like the Milwaukees, like the Bostons. They would be really, really good. And it wouldn't be a total rebuild, even if you lose 2 of the biggest stars in the NBA. And to me, that's a win. And you get some draft capital back after all the draft capital you lost for getting, trading for James Harden, who you eventually had to trade away. That's just my thoughts, man. I think you could really, really do some damage with that team centered around Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, and Cam Thomas. We'll see. But we will see if it happens. I don't think they want to trade Kevin Durant at all, though. And he's got 4 years left on his contract, so they have a little bit of an advantage. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Boston will pull the trigger and make a play for Kevin Durant, or do you think Kevin Durant will start the season as a Brooklyn Net? Once again, my name is JeffLightsYjr with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That is Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next time. Peace.